So I'm just going to try to get through this as quickly as possible because I don't have a lot of time and neither does anybody else. And so, shit, fuck, damn it, right? Um, I just want to fucking complete this fucking stupid thing. Um, uh, so what I was saying last was basically about, I was saying, like, I'm not looking at anything. I'm just, what was I last talking about? The point was that people who compulsive, compulsively lie and spin another story to other people close in their lives than is what the actual truth continuously. I do believe they can change. Now, that's not without a bunch of work. It does take work. It takes being uncomfortable. It takes confronting the truth. It takes being accountable. It takes a lot of shit, which is really uncomfortable. And but they can change. So I don't feel like the condition of narcissism or like the stupid glasses. I don't feel like the condition of being in the mud or like, being in shit because of the lies and the the absolute deceitfulness that someone has been a part of, like, and done and told to someone or people who are closest to them. I don't feel like that can't be undone, but it does take work. It takes work. That's what I wanted to say about that because just I need to get this out of my head and fucking I'm in a bit of a rush. Where is it? So this is going to take a few minutes because there's a bunch of shit I need to offload. And once I do, I'm going to be like, thank God I got it out of my system. No, it's all good. Okay, hurry the fuck up, right? Because this is all just, it's just part of the process, right? Like you just do it. You just go through it, right? Hold on. There's something I need to show here, and I gotta find it again. And fuck off with distractions and bullshit. Okay, where? I can't see that well without my glasses. So, yeah. Oh, shit. There's another thing I wanted to say, actually, before I get into this. So, my goals, I am basically a peace-loving person. I'm very honest. I'm very, like, with those that I'm closest with, I'm, like, extremely loyal and faithful. There was one time which I communicated about with my, it's weird to say boyfriend because we never like actually called each other boyfriend and girlfriend. Like I say partner. But yeah, relationship. Like, how do you define that? Because when you're talking with someone flirtatiously and like, yeah, you don't have a commitment there. Like, oh, but I didn't say I was in a relationship, so therefore it's okay, right? So he was staying with me in Pine Mountain Club. We were trying to work out our future. He kept telling me I can't work this out. I can't work it out. I can't work it out. Um, I'm just going to have to leave and go. We, uh, he was staying with me for about 2 months, and we were still together and like still, having some good moments and stuff. But the fact that he had put that there made it more, everything was in limbo for me. I was in such apathy about everything with him, and so I was completely distraught. I was in shambles. I was so sad, and I don't even like. There wasn't like a couple days that went by that we didn't have mind blowing sex. So like we were still like, there wasn't like a period of like a week where we like that went by where we weren't talking to each other, we didn't have sex, and we were still all full on, right? But he had just told me, we had just had another one, like we would have fun times and stuff, but then like once a week or something we would have like a serious conversation about like, okay, what are we going to do? And it came to this, like, how can we make this work? And he, um up until he had come out with me, like we were almost at the point of where he could work remotely, almost, systems set up, people and stuff. And then he left, and then COVID hit and everything fell apart. So he um he was delayed a little bit longer staying with me, which wasn't too bad for me, but I mean, like, I enjoyed having him there a little bit longer. But it came to a point where he was like, you know, uh told me that he didn't think um he wasn't going to be able to work it out. So I remember there was a couple of days where we were like kind of in cahoots, like we were just kind of like, I don't remember exactly, but like I remember during this time period where we were basically sort of off, and then we had another conversation about a week later, like a few days later, um, where we had this discussion, and we talked about it, and I said, what about when everything falls apart after we leave this? And I remember that moment. He walked over to the window. He was looking out the window out that door, looking out at everything. And he turned around and he walked over to me. He said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. And it was like one of those, wipe everything off the table. Here's the plan. Okay, here's what we're going to do. And in that moment, we reconfirmed everything, because I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but I said something like, basically, when we just say that's it, what happens when everything falls apart? What then? Like, why don't we fix this now and sort everything out, and let's make a plan so that we can build a future and have that future. Do the hard stuff now so that we can just sit and relax later and be extremely blissfully happy together. He turned around and said, and basically told me, like, okay, this is it. We're on. We're gonna fix this. Like, in other words, after that conversation, he said, okay, I'm going to go rebook my flight. I'm going to fix that. We started fixing things. But I told him, it was like shortly after that, I said, look, I had downloaded some dating apps. It was like a few days later. I uploaded my picture and like not much else. Like it was just, it was Bumble. I think it was just Bumble. And like, I just was like, look, I did that. I chat with a few guys on there. Like, it was nothing much. It was like, how you doing? Oh, cool. Nothing much. Like, whatever. It was like, there was like literally no connection at all. And a few days later, I told him about it. Just like literally within a few days, I said something about it to confess, because I felt bad about it. Like I felt like I was being unfaithful and disloyal, and so I coughed it up. That was a few days after it, and at that point, like I hadn't, you know, it to me it was just to sort of confirm the fact that there was no one else that I wanted more than him, and it was like I didn't like going on those apps. I didn't like it. I felt superficial and cheesy and like, go fucking meet a stranger and like have to start all over again. Like, it just was like, I don't want to do that. Like, what do I care? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. And I feel so superficial being on those apps. I'll never do it again. Like, it just made me feel like a number. It made me feel like nothing. It made me feel like just a face and a name to anybody else who looked me up. And like, they're not going to know me. Like, they're not going to, like, it takes a long time, really. And it takes like involvement with somebody to get to know them. Like, how can you just meet up with somebody and like after a couple times or whatever have sex with them and stuff, and just like, like, how can you do that? Like, that's just so cheap and disgusting to me. So anyway, I felt bad about it, and I couldn't even really believe that at the time anyway that I had done that to him, that I would have done that. But in looking back on it, I remember in the time, in the moment, in the feeling, it felt so low. It felt so low. And I felt like he was leaving me, and I felt like, well, let me see if there's any possibility of me finding something similar. Or like finding something. Oh, God, I knew from like even before I did that, like it's just dumb. Like it's just stupid. Like I'm not gonna find anybody online, and like it's just not gonna. I'm not even interested. It's like, ugh, yuck. Anyway, just hook up with some stranger. Like, oh, let me go create an OnlyFans account and like, sell myself online. Like, really? Like, anyway, so I felt really cheap, even for a few days doing that. I told him about it. I said, yeah, okay, I did that. All he said to me was, wow, that kind of really surprised me. Who knows? Maybe he had already created dating apps for himself at that point. I don't know. That was in 2020. I don't know. But that was the only time that I had done that while we were still working things out and having sex and having a relationship and creating stuff together and creating a plan for the future and stuff like that. So there you go. No, it's not okay if you leave them with the expectation that, like, while seeing someone else at the same time. Like, no, that's not okay. Sorry, but no. And you're on dating apps at the same time. No. Like, there's no more fine line. There's no more, like, you may be crossing the line. No, there's no more of that. Saying that, like, oh, I never actually said I was in a relationship, so therefore it's okay. That's just an excuse to fool around with someone else. Sorry, but yeah. You're chatting with other people on dating apps while sending me videos of you jerking off to me. Sorry, but no. Yeah, I said it. You want me to delete this? You have the keys to the kingdom. You have the keys to the kingdom, and you can get in communication with me. Otherwise, fuck off. So there's that. Like, I'm still pissed. I'm still so fucking pissed. Sorry, but like, you don't get to dance around that and just excuse it and like just be like, "Oh, you're just a jealous person." You see this right here? You see this? Hi. Um okay. Yeah, no, it's cool. Like, once I get this fully out of my system, then I believe I can move on. But it's sort of like the undercut to it all. Like, if it was to be totally cut off, it would be like that person would actually right their wrongs and would not send me hateful texts the next day after telling me they'll get back to me within a week, and then telling me that oh, if I talk to you again, you're just gonna think we're in a relationship. What fucking bullshit is that? Like, what fucking bullshit? How would I actually think we're in a relationship? I'm not actually delusional. Like, actually, despite his accusations, like, no, I'm not. You entered that dynamic by flirting with me and being and sexting and all of that. Okay. And then literally not even talking about it with me the next couple of days or in the next few days. And then literally that Sunday going on a date with someone you met off of one of your dating apps. Sorry, but like, excuse me? And you're like trying to pin me on, like, telling me I'm somehow like delusional. Give me a fucking break. No. Like, fuck you. Excuse me, but like, that's not like, I'm still so irate about this. And then about a week later, I don't know, we were talking again and seemed to be fine. Okay, like, no notes, no nothing. I'm going to talk about this. And so we were chatting. No notes. I lied. Ooh, I lied. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we were like chatting back and forth on iMessage, right? When we normally communicated on other apps. But then, uh, I was fucking messed up over this whole thing. I was fucking messed up. And then early in the morning, this was like a week and a half ago, right? And then early in the morning, I'm like stewing over this thing, like, right? And then I just had to say it, like, because we had talked that night, and then he said, "Oh, and I'm fully disabused of the idea of a relationship at this point. Like, give me a fucking break. Like I'd want to be with somebody who deceives me and lies to me. But so I had to let him know, like, look, like, because he had said, I'll get back to you within a week about this software stuff, right? Cool, okay. Because I had asked him, like, so, like, when are you going to get back to me, basically? Within a week. Like, okay, cool, okay. So then I later, I later said, like, look, if you, I'm not even looking at the text, like, this is from memory. If you get back to me and, because he had been flirting with me, right? Like he had been, like, so I'm just like, I gotta let you know, here are my boundaries. If you get back to me and you want me, you miss me, you feel like you love me still, then here are my boundaries. This is the set param like this is it, right? Like this is, and point blank, like, these are my boundaries. If you get back to me and you suddenly decide that, like, hey, you're actually the only one for me and I don't want anybody else, and this is it, like, so I said, look, this is what I require for that type of communication, because it had only just happened again, right? Then he got back to me with a nasty text and said, basically, like, I never want to speak to you again. If I get back to you again in a week, which, you're just gonna, no. First of all, he said, you're still talking like we're in a relationship. I wasn't. And if I get back to you in a week, you're just going to think that anything I say to you is going to mean we're in a relationship. No. Like, I was already fully out of it, but because we had talked and we had been texting and stuff like that, and I was like, well, I have this really cool software thing I want to share with you. Like, aside from all of that, like, put all of that aside, like, I want to share, still, I'd like to still share that with you because I think it could actually help you. And yeah, sure, in my heart, in my whatever, I still love you. Like, I want to help you, So that was how it had ended pretty much. And so I got this nasty text back from him the next day. I'd been sitting in all this fucking, like, all this just huge, I can sum it up by saying huge hurt. Huge. Okay, first of all, like, what he had told me about was way worse than what I had imagined. I had thought he was going to tell me that that. So that week where he told me that he had downloaded something over the weekend, some dating apps, but now he deleted them. Then later that week, he met up with someone for a date. I had thought he was going to say, yes, actually, I had downloaded some dating apps and I had scheduled to meet up with somebody, but then I deleted them. But then I went and saw them, but now they're not, I've decided they're not my thing, and that all of that is no longer. That's what I expected to hear. It was way worse than what I had thought. So apparently, this dating app thing, I don't even know if that is true or not. But what he allowed me to know, it could have happened earlier than that. I will never know. But shit. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up soon. So he had let me know that it had started back in December, which that was pretty much the same month that I had left. That he had downloaded the apps, the dating apps. In his conversation to me, he said, "Oh, I felt like I just needed to download the apps and find someone else, basically find someone else." Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks. That's what you needed to do to hurt me and make me go away because you didn't have a solution to be here. Cool. Anyway, so he had downloaded those apps by then, and he told me in December, I just need 3 weeks. Give me 3 weeks to decide whether or not, about us. Basically, I said, okay. I tried to be the good, it was okay, fine. I gave him his time. During that time, he was dating other people. He was looking for people on dating apps and scheduling dates. And I'm only saying all this now because of the nasty text he last sent me. The nasty, nasty text where he lied when he told me, I'll talk to you in a week. And then literally the next day, while I was sitting stewing in all of this, going what the fuck? And I was stewing in all of it, but I could have gotten through it by myself. And I was willing to wait another week. I was cool. Literally, that text is what set everything off. And then I was fuck you. I'm going to fucking expose everything. And fuck this. How dare you treat me like a piece of trash? How dare you? That is what literally started everything, opening everything up. So after he sent me that text of saying I'm never speaking to you again, you're just gonna think I'm gonna, that was his insecurities, not even trusting himself that he wouldn't get drawn into something again, okay? That's when I opened it all up again. Meaning, didn't care after that. And just went, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I want to have, I am a peace loving person, and I want to have a loving relationship where we both treat each other with kindness and courtesy and respect and never falter on that. And we can right our wrongs. We take accountability for things. We grow together. We share things, and we don't have to be the same or have the same viewpoint about everything. Like, in fact, I prefer not to, like, because I learn from people who have different viewpoints from me, and that's a good thing. Um, I want to have chemistry with somebody. I want to have that X factor. I want to like have that grrr, I want you right now kind of a thing. Like I want that. I want to have an emotional connection. Like I want to have that. I want to be able to be vulnerable with each other. I want to be fully open. I want us to be able to deal with each other's emotions or communication, if it's serious or not, and know that we'll always be there for each other. And we're not just going to walk out if the other person cries, or if the other person gets angry, or if the other person has some stuff, you know? So there you go.